r/AskReddit. Cops of Reddit. What's the creepiest thing you've found during a house search? I used to volunteer with my local PD. Nothing will beat the old lady who passed away in her house and her little dog ate her face. Literally just the skin from the jawline to the hairline, and from ear to ear. It left the eyeballs in the sockets. Just a skeleton in a lady suit. Doing the 1,000-yard stare. This was meat. The whole time. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Internet person. My very first after 4 years. Oh my god. He was made of food. A coat rack with a hat on. Clearing a dark house and seeing what could easily be a person standing motionless in the corner is not fun. As silly as this sounds. I was clearing a house with my gun out obviously and rounded a corner to see a man pointing a gun right at my face. I yelled and was taking slack out of the trigger when I realized I was looking at a full-length mirror. Took a while to recover from that adrenaline dump. That's a good illustration of how the human mind can't process an entire scene at one time and you'll focus on what's important, the barrel of a gun, vs other details, my own face and police uniform. When I become a supervillain all entry points will be through mirror mazes. Edit. Yes, I get it. Other supervillains have been partly there, but none of them used mirror mazes at each entry point and more importantly, they are all movie villains. That is imaginary people. I on the other hand am very real. Not a cop, but a former corrections officer. Doing a cell search one time and stumbled across a 500ml Coffee Mate container almost full of accumulated semen. I was later told it took 7 months to save it up. I've seen and dealt with a lot of hit, but for some reason, that one ranks up there. Must be hard to get a box in prison. I understood that reference. My brother is a cop. He told me about this time when they responded to a workplace accident where a rail yard worker had been crushed between two rail cars. The guy had been crushed/pressed into the ladder of one of the cars. They kept hearing voices coming from the body. Muffled voices but definitely coming from the body. It took them a while to figure out the worker had been carrying a radio. Needless to say they were a bit disturbed until they reached that conclusion. We found a suicide victim in our yard. Put his head on the rail and held on with his hands. Passing freight train had neatly sliced off the top of his skull. And all fingers and thumbs. He lived for a few hours afterwards in hospital. A matter of 5 ducking inches is the difference between ending it now and a few hours from now. My dad answered a domestic call at an apartment on the 23rd floor. As soon as he walked in he saw blood everywhere. In pools on the floor. Spatter on the walls and ceiling. Smeared all over everything. He walked further in to find a woman crumpled on the floor. Battered beyond recognition. And the partner is standing in front of an open window. My dad started to talk to the man. To coax him into coming with. And the man immediately turned around and stepped out the window. Falling 70 meters to his death. Edit. Yes, she survived. Did the woman survive? Yes. 'Twas only a flesh wound. Tiny. Quiet. Southern town. Whole family that had been dead for a week. Their teenage daughter's boyfriend who she met online was visiting from across the country. Stepdad. Mother. Daughter and her friend all murder and hacked up by an axe. The mom was a professor at my university a block away, and when she didn't show up to work for a few days cops went to house and talked to murder who gave them some plausible excuse so they left. He stayed in the house for a full week before leaving. The cops went back when neighbors reported the smell. They caught the guy at airport about to fly home. The fact that he stayed with the corpses for so long is what is really creepy about this whole thing. If he had already bought a return ticket then what else was he going to do? I'm not a cop but a paramedic. Went into a lady's house one time. Can't remember what the call was for. That had sheets of paper taped all over the walls. They all said something along the lines of remember the voices aren't real. Gave me a warm safe feeling. It's okay. They aren't real. And you neither. Brother-in-law is a cop. He told me about a time he and his partner were called to do a wellness check on someone with a terminal illness. Family didn't know where he was. So they get to the house. Knock. And get no response. They entered the house to see if he had passed away due to his illness. They did not find him there. But what they did find was a stairway leading down to a basement. In that basement was a vast number of X-toys, ropes, harnesses, etc. There was also a stage with a bed on it, and a video camera on a tripod focused on it. He had stumbled upon this guy's X-dungeon. The guy ended up being alive, but was visiting someone out of town and didn't notify any of his family. Damn it, mom. Terminal illness, not broken arms. Edit. Oops. Misread the ops prompt. This isn't actually creepy. But whatever, I already typed it. Family disturbance call on Christmas Eve 2011. Husband vs wife. No battery. Nobody went to jail, but the house was filled with hundreds of knives and toys. Normal toys. Little ones. Great big horse toys. And every kind of mall ninja knife you can imagine. Every horizontal surface was covered with sharp metal or jiggly silicone. There were even a few new ones under the tree. After clearing the house, we had to talk to these folks with a straight face for a good 10 minutes. It was one of the greatest challenges of my career. I'm now imagining two people going out separately to do Christmas shopping for each other. They spend hours agonizing over trying to come up with the perfect gift before sighing and going with the good old half dozen steak knives and a pair of rubber horse beans. It could be a nice sweater or a tie. Or didn't she say something about wanting earrings last week? Maybe she was dropping a hint. But you can't chance it. I mean, you wouldn't want your other half to not get some dungs and stabbers and then be disappointed on Christmas. Right? So there you are. With a new set of jeans and a 14-inch double-ended black one. Just like last year. Dungs and stabbers is the weirdest snakes and ladders variant I've ever heard of. I was an MP and not involved in this particular case. But child pornography on a guy's computer. The guy was known to leave his room unlocked so people could use his computer. He ended up getting booted from the military and serving time in a military jail while swearing it wasn't him. You have inspired me to not only lock my door, but lock and unplug my computer as well. Doesn't matter. My brother and some web servers to show clients work in progress. He noticed a slowdown in access speed from offsite. So he did some digging. Someone had hacked into his server, uploaded a lot of porn, not child porn, into hidden directories, and was using the server for an underground porn site. My very first dead guy had been in his house for almost a week during a very hot July with Noah/C. Did you know that your skin will become clear and you can see everything? He popped when the funeral home came to get him. Yes. Popped. Some people. They are not bothered by this. Me. No. I don't have the stomach. This is the only part of the job that bothers me. Did you know that your skin will become clear and you can see everything? Actually, I did know this. It's actually caused by the breakdown of. No. I don't have the stomach. This is the only part of the job that bothers me. Oh. Never mind. Like Jamie Foxx in The Amazing Spider-Man except no electricity? Friend of a cop here. He told me about how him and his buddy went to search in an apartment. They looked around and his buddy finally called him over. A guy was just in an oven. Dead of course. But in an oven. When the guys tried to pull him out of the oven, all the contents and gas of the dead guy fell right out. A few of the guys vomited and gagged. I would have just removed the oven with the body still in it. Yeah, I doubt you're tossing that bad boy up on Craigslist after. My mother used to work for a police department. And I'd hang out there when I'd be homesick from school. This old man used to walk to the gas station on the corner to get a pack of smokes and coffee every day. The gas station attendant called for a wellness check when she realized she hadn't seen him for a couple weeks in the dead of summer. Cops went, knocked, smelled something, opened the door, walked in, instantly came back out vomiting from the smell. They had to come back later with respirators, trash bags, and snow shovels to clean up the sludge that used to be the old man. Another officer almost quit his first night on the job. Really bad accident. Guy shows up. The one car has no one in it at all. He's looking around. Guy isn't on the ground anywhere. He tried to figure out if maybe the guy walked away. so goes to look inside for some identification. Finds the guy. He hit so hard that he slammed up under and into the dashboard, and was just a broken sack of bones stuffed in around the steering column and other parts. I'm animal control. We had an old guy die in summer and wasn't found for almost a month, who was also a dirty hoarder with lots of cats. We got some of the cats and some ran out an open window. But protocol is to lock everything up right when everyone leaves until estate is handled or whatever. So we had to leave a trap inside in case any more cats were left behind. We had to check it twice a day every day for about 2 weeks. And the damn smell never got any better. It was a mixture of rotted core along with whatever inch thick black film that covered the entirety of the apartment. There was an old dial knob TV on a chair just inside the door with such a layer of filth it took me 10 minutes to figure out what it was. Went back to the complex about a year later to pick up cats, still being trapped by the other tenants, to see that they were just finishing the remodel. I asked the works how much they had to do, and they said the entire place was gutted to the studs. Nothing was salvageable. Pretty gross. Thank God they remodeled it completely though. I was afraid you were going to say something horrible like they steam cleaned the carpet, painted the walls, then moved some family with a crawling baby into the apartment. Friend is a cop. Wellness check called in. Went and smelled horrible and discovered a large dead guy, shirtless, sitting in his front room in a lawn chair watching TV. He had set up an industrial space heater behind his chair, which was on at full blast due to the heat, and apparently other factors he had merged through the back of that lawn chair. My husband is a surveyor for the local council and found an eerily similar thing. Old man in a high-rise flat fell asleep on his recliner with the fireplace blazing and died in his sleep. Cue dripping remains in puddles around the footrest. This would make a good Febreze commercial. Okay, what do you smell? Okay, now open your eyes.